Hey family, welcome to Cage TV right here. This is of course your brother Mr. Cage on Cage TV. Today we have a documentary. We want us to do a documentary. We want us to look at what is trending now. This is a platform where we get to have a glance into what is trending on social media and just in our lives in general. And so today we have a story about Kamono. I know a lot of you probably have heard of Kamono, but who is Kamono? What has happened? So there've been a story that I've just emanated from the other day, like 2 days ago, up into today, and obviously going forward. But we want to have a glance into what is just pertaining, so that we probably have a clear picture of what it is, and also, to give a clear picture of this framework. And so the question is, who is Kamono, right? So Kamono Farm Initiatives are Limited. This is a dynamic company with a vision of changing the agribusiness landscape by offering the farmers a superior service, full cycle farm activities that is market driven, and getting farmers into agribusiness economy as producers and consumers. All right. The business concept of Kamono Farm Initiative Limited is to build and sustainably manage a diversified portfolio of crop, poultry, aquaculture, and other agro-related assets. The emphasis is on production with high biological growth rates, directly or in partnership with populated and higher consuming industries, locations or other suitable partners, and combining economic profitability with high social impact and environmental responsibility. So this is all about Kamono, all right? This is who Kamono is. So Kamono is basically into a lot of things. So what they do is they work more like portfolio investments. Obviously you've heard of people investing in bonds, people investing on market shares, on international and local and stuff like that. And so basically what happens, even just the way insurances do, sometimes we know that there is funeral insurance, also education insurance policies, where you are saving bit by bit. Then over time, when you have a calamity, when you have a funeral, when you have educational needs, then they come on board and help you pay out whilst you continue servicing your policy. All right. And so what Kamono does, Kamono has invested into a lot of things, into poultry, into animal husbandry, into fish farming, into just farming where they cultivate maybe maize, tomatoes, watermelons, and a lot of things. So what they do is this is what they do. Let's say in 7 months, if you want to invest probably say into fish farming, all right, you want to invest into fish farming for 7 months, and so the least that you can invest your money is 3,500, and for the period of 7 months you will be paid 15,000 kwacha. So meaning your 3,500 would have grown into 15,000 kwacha. If you want, you can have your payout like there and then, or if you want, you can still change your mind and reinvest that money. Okay. And so they have even a scheme of 7 months for 10,000 gives you 45,000, 17,500 gives you 75,000, 24,500 gives you 105,000, 35,000 gives you 150,000, just like that. So this is like a standard table. So you can invest either in farming, like I said, fish farming, crop farming, you can invest in a lot of these things, animal husbandry, and all of these other things you can invest. Okay. And now, so Kamono has grown like a big deal. Kamono has grown a big deal. they are just no longer just in Central Province. I think they are well known to be in Central Province, Kabwe in particular, but Kamono has now grown a big deal. They are in Chipata, they are in Lusaka, they are in Choma, they are in Mumbwa, they are in Teji, they are in Kabwe, they are in Andola, they are in Kitwe, they are in Solwezi, they are in Mansa. So they are running their programs in all of these areas, all right? And so I think recently, obviously you are aware, since they are based or they originate from Kabwe Central Province, so Dreams, Mr. Music is, I think, their brand ambassador, if not mistaken. He should be their brand ambassador, because is one face that they use a lot in terms of advertising. When they're going out, he's always there to perform and things like that. Okay, now, with all this information, we know that every time that something is happening and DEC or government investigative wings, they think there are some ulterior motives or dubious dealings in that business, they quickly, come in and see how best they can bring sanity to that business. And so family, DEC pounced on them, and so did what is known best to do. And so let me just read for you a statement coming from about the whole thing in regards to DEC. 3 directors, the chairperson and treasurer of Kamono Farm Initiative Limited, has been arrested and charged with a fraud and money laundering amounting to more than 130 million kwacha. Amounting to more than 130 million kwacha, all right? Those are charged by the Drug Enforcement Commission, DEC, are Fanuel Zulu, Enoch Chibutu, Maxwell Masempela, Miriam Soko, and Matimba Chongo. DEC Public Relations Officer Hussein Khan said the suspects are charged for providing banking, business, or financial services without a license, conducting a money circulating scheme, and prevention of money laundering. Particulars of the matter are that suspects, all of Kamono Farm Initiative Limited and Kamono Cooperative Society Limited jointly, and whilst working together with other persons unknown on dates, but between January 1st, 2021 and September 31st, 2022, provided banking services, banking business and financial services to members of the public without a license from the Bank of Zambia by fraudulently collecting deposits amounting to 135,865,286 kwacha, he said. Mr. Kani said Kamono invited members of the public to invest in their various agricultural schemes, which resulted into the collection of funds, purporting that they would get returns when in fact not. All right, let's take note of that. He, however, said that the production levels at the farm could not generate such promised returned. Remember, we looked at that table, all right? That table. Okay. So according to DEC, they are saying that is unrealistic. Further, they engaged in money laundering involving proceeds of crime by receiving and possessing cash at hand amounting to 763,552.49 ngwe, all right? And funds in various company banks accounts amounting to 15,531 kwacha, 722 32 kwacha 99 ngwe, as well as in various mobile money accounts amounting to 38,611 kwacha for ngwe. And he said Mr. Khan said that the commission has seized these funds and frozen the accounts, and that the suspects are on bond and will appear in court soon. The commission would like to set the record straight that according to its investigations, Kamono was a money circulation scheme by unscrupulous perpetrated by unscrupulous individuals to defraud members of the public of their hard-earned funds by promising unrealistic returns on investments. The commission would also like to advise members of the public to be wary of such schemes as they may lose their money, he said. All right, and so this is courtesy of Mwebantu. It was done yesterday on the 20th, that's April 2023. All right, and now after all of these things happened, DEC decided to release, a statement cautioning the public to be wary, to be aware, to be vigilant and on the lookout, to be alert, because such unscrupulous, activities, perpetrated by unscrupulous dealers are happening in our societies, and so we just need to be alert. All right, so this is the caution. So according to DEC, the promises that Kamono has been making are unrealistic. Now, after all of these things happened, Kamono board sat down and also decided to do a public statement. All right, because their market is the public, and so they just needed to hear from them. And so this is the statement from Kamono. All right. Greetings, clients, partners, and countrymen and women. As some of you may be aware, the government through the Drug Enforcement Commission has been conducting investigations into the operations of Kamono. Right. Yesterday afternoon, DEC arrested and charged 3 directors and shareholders of the company, together with 2 critical management personnel. All right. On top of that, DEC has seized properties of the company and money intended to continue the production life of the company at the 4 major production sites. Okay. The effect of this is that Kamono, as a going concern, has been crippled and rendered incapable of fulfilling its obligations to its clients and creditors for the time being. Okay, I want you to pay note of this. I want to repeat myself. The effect of this seizure, all right, and freezing of the accounts is that Kamono as a going concern has been crippled and rendered incapable of fulfilling its obligations to its clients and creditors for the time being. Being law-abiding citizens and desirous of according the state both time and an environment to conduct and properly conclude their investigations and prosecutorial undertakings, the directors and stakeholders, shareholders rather, called a special emergency meeting to make resolutions with respect to the fate of the company and the plight of its clients and creditors on the face of the government's decision. All right. Arising from the foregoing and the deliberations of the meeting, the directors resolved to take the unfortunate and painful step of invoking the 4 majeure clause in the respective contract signed with clients for payouts that were due and remained unpaid, either in part or in full, as of 18th April rather 2028. Now I want you to pay attention of this. I want to repeat myself. Following this, the company has unfortunately, taken a step to invoke the force majeure clause. Now we'll explain what that means later on. Okay, so let me proceed and leave those that are yet to mature in future to continue running alongside these investigative processes. it was further resolved that management and clients or their representatives meet at Kabai Farm on the 6th of May 2023, all right, which is next month, where other matters will be clarified and resolved. We urge our clients in view of this to register for the visit through the link. So those people that are affiliated, that are enrolled, that are doing that, have invested in Kamono, should register through their link, so that they should be part of the meeting that will happen in Kabai on the 6th of May 2023, where the board will have time to clarify the occurrences to the general public and to the members of Kamono in terms of the investors. All right. We wish to clarify that the company has not been closed down, as no liquidation proceedings against it have been commenced, nor has a winding up order been issued from the courts, but simply that although it is alive, in fact it has been killed in principle, as the action of DEC and the state at large have incapacitated it as a going concern. All right, so they are saying it hasn't been closed down, it hasn't been shut down, but by principle it has been killed. I hope you're following that. Let's move on. It's a regrettable state of affairs, but we have confidence in the process and the goodwill of the state and the responsible state institutions, especially the Republican president, who has time and again pronounced his commitment to bettering the economy and the lives of the Zambian generally, all right, which in our model and concept of business we sought and endeavored to complement. In that spirit, it is our hope that the steps taken by the state are in the interest of the public and our clients, with a view to secure their interest as we did. We therefore call for calm and cooperation from our clients and the general public at large as we all go through this very unfortunate and inconvenient process, with the hope that we shall come out better and strong. May God bless our country and may He bless you all. I thank you, Fanuel Zulu, Managing Director and Chairman of the Board. All right, and so this is a statement that was released, a public statement by Kamono Managing Director, that's Mr. Fanuel Zulu, after they sat down as a board in that meeting. Now, with all of this happening, one would wonder, how did the deck just bump into them and things like that? Now, I want to tell you something. A lot of people have been debating and wondering as to whether Kamono is a legit company and things like that. Are they registered? Are they really realistic in terms of do they have the capacity to pay people that invest into their company the promised dues and things like that? And so these debates have been going through, but alas, Kamono has grown like big all over the sudden. They are now like everywhere, like we cited in the number of stations or towns where they are operating from. So Kamono is a big company as we speak. It acts as a cooperative. Okay, now recently, like 2-3 days ago, there was a post on social media, Facebook, by Mary Banda. All right, now I want us to read this post. So Mary Banda is a person that has been investing into Kamono, all right, for quite some time. Now here is a post. I invested in Kamono Farm initiative last year, all right. They used to advertise these chili and garlic contracts where if you invest at 3,500, they would pay you 25,000 after 9 months, not 7 months, but 9 months. Okay. I invested and my due date was 2nd November. Obviously last year. Okay. When my pay was near, they made us sign extension agreements and assured me that they would pay me in March. March obviously last year, okay? Whenever I call them, they refer me to the payout department, but the same payout department has been unreachable since first March. Since first March, payout department has not been reachable, okay? They now treat me like a fool. Each person you manage to chance refers you to another person. At this point, I don't know how I don't know if I will ever get my money. They have blocked me from their Facebook page for telling the truth. Please help me. Now, this was Mary Banda. I saw this post like two days ago, all right, on social media, and I was like, this is now, Kamono, what is happening here? This is Kamono, what is happening? Okay, now here is the thing. After this happened, now a lot of people, now one would think, I want to make this very clear, one would think DEC has responded because of Mary Banda, but check, DEC is into this matter because they are saying Kamono has been working illegally because they did not obtain the work license or the license from Bank of Zambia. This is what DEC is saying, not that they did not pay Mary Banda. Or, in as much as DEC also has alluded to the very fact that their promises as Kamono don't seem realistic, but their main focal point is that Kamono has been operating illegally without the license approved or issued by Bank of Zambia, because Bank of Zambia is the institution that regulates any financial lending institution, anything that deals with in finances here in Zambia. Okay, so now there have been other people. In such instances, you can't shut down the public opinion court, all right? And so the court of public opinion also had to register their thoughts. Now, these are thoughts from social media, following the comments and things like that. And so we have Vincent Tender, all right? Vincent Tender says, this Kamono conducted its illegal activities in broad daylight at fairs. Okay, so fairs like agriculture show, traditional ceremonies, where even the president visited their stands, all right, where they explained contracts, farming, creating an impression that they are legal and they have the support by the state to the members of the public. Okay, now you are just advising members of public to be wary of such as may lose their money without mentioning of what will happen. Over 10,000 investors in Kamono scheme, giving the impression that those who invested in Kamono have lost their money, but meanwhile you are saving, you have seized accounts from various banks, etc., etc. So what Vincent Tender is saying is that you are now cautioning us when it is almost too late. Why didn't you sensitize us? You've frozen the bank accounts of this, but what becomes of the 10,000s of people that have invested into Kamono? All right. So he's saying Kamono paraded itself in trade fairs, in traditional ceremonies. Even the presidents went to their tables and they were explained in terms of how Kamono operates. Why today? This is what Tendai is saying. All right. Now after Tendai, we have Kelvik Muntanga. So Kelvik Muntanga says, boss, the business and the company, everything is true. It's a legit business. Kamono Farm started way back 2023. This is what he's saying. In 2023, they were in operation, all right? And before 2023, okay? It's been visited by Republican presidents, agriculture ministers, and other officials. If it was a fraud, then why involve the open offices, ZNBC and real farmers in our country everywhere? True is contemplated, all right? Believe you me, the commission will be ashamed. Let's take it to court I stand true to the company. What a poor mindset, people. But busy approving false rumors. Okay, so he's saying these are false rumors. Kamono is a legit company. The presidents have visited the BCD, etc., etc. They've been in operation even before 2013. This is according to Kelvik Muntanga. After Kelvik Muntanga, we also had the mind of Chibesa Chikuni Bwalia, and this is what Chibesa Chikuni Bwalia had to say actually to Kelvik Muntanga. He said, it's about following the laid down procedures. This company was not registered with the Bank of Zambia, and yet they traded in millions of kwacha. So you can't blame DEC for doing a job on behalf of the Bank of Zambia. You can't blame DEC for doing the job on behalf of Bank of Zambia. Now, just on this point, where was Bank of Zambia? Is the question. Where was Bank of Zambia? Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on. We have another mind here registered. This is coming from Rita C. Mwana Mubotu, and so Mwana Mubotu. Tiwakedebia walo wambide manu wakwe mbuli bonya mumagane haya. And so this is what she had to say. The first investors in these pyramid schemes always get paid. So there are people that are saying, some of us, we can give testimony, we can attest to the very fact that we got paid the promised returns from Kamono. And so how come you're now calling it false? Now, what Rita is saying, in these pyramid businesses, the first people always get paid, all right? So she's counter-reacting to such thoughts. They always get paid. This creates a perception that these schemes are legit and will attract more people to invest until it all comes out crashing down like, I won't read the next word. It's quite a bad word, all right? Like walls of Jericho. Mwebantu, before investing in these too good to be true schemes, do a lot of due diligence, research, especially on how these businesses are run and things like that. So that was Rita. Okay, after Rita we have another person with, we want to get as main views from different mindsets as we can, so that we have a gist, a clear picture of what this is about. Okay, so we have now this must be an administrator of this social media Facebook called Kabwe Lunch Hour Fellowship. It's from Kabwe. I believe this is not representing the Kabwe Lunch Hour Fellowship, but it is the mind of it's representing the mind of the administrator. Okay, and so then the administrator says, just because some PF members invested in the venture, it has become a scam. It's now going political. Just because some PF members, officials have invested into this venture, it has now become a scam. Okay, let's go on. You politician, don't be selfish. Think before you do anything that is involving the public and the masses. Kamono was born under PF regime and was an initiative to create jobs and empower farmers through their program. Now that UPND has learned that it was PF's initiative and some have invested into it, then it should be demonized. If you are saying that you are concerned about what Kamono was doing to the public, then help them get back their monies as well. So don't just freeze their bank accounts, but also make sure that the people that invested, the people that are waiting for their dues, all right, at least pay them their initial investments, at least, so that they don't lose out completely, all right? Otherwise, if you leave it hanging, then you are worse than the devil himself. And what you are accusing Kamono of to be, you are worse than Kamono. This is what actually the administrator of Kabwe Lunch Hour Fellowship is saying. So help the general public as well, people that invested into Kamono, at least give them even at least their initial investments. Don't just freeze the account and grab the money, all right? This is getting exciting, family. And so we also have Davis Mlenga. Davis said, I can't just be left out. I have also my mind to register on this particular subject. And this is what Davis had to say. From 2013, when Kamono Farm Initiative Limited started its operations, all law enforcers didn't see and sensed anything fishy. But after people have invested heavily with their hard-earned cash, it's when our law enforcers now knows that it's an illegal business. Ikonaman, DEC, Zambia Police, SEC, and other security wings, please lend to assist people through sensitization about these schemes. Already there are two other companies doing the same businesses as Kamono Initiative in Kabwe, namely Gloryland and Greenbelt. So Gloryland and Greenbelt is doing similar programs, all right, as Kamono. So this is a wake-up call by Davis Mlenga to the investigative wings involved to also take their step further to check on Gloryland and Greenbelt to ensure that they have the license from Bank of Zambia, because we don't want, after people think they've now arrived, and then all of a sudden their accounts are frozen and things like that. Please move in quickly before it is too late, says Davis Mlenga. All right. Then we also have Harry Mulea. Now Henry Mulea has something very interesting. I have just read the statement from DEC on the Kamono Farm Initiatives Limited. Okay. I am convinced this is a case of mishandled case by the law enforcement. The accusation is that Kamono was collecting money from the public without banking license. Okay, this is not a case of Kamono swindling the public, but government failing to embrace a new initiative. There is a twist of reasoning here. I like it though. So what Henry Mlea is simply saying is that the government has just failed to embrace the new way of doing business, new way of thinking. It's not the issue really of Kamono not having the license or the practicing license. It's just, so it's trying to politicate as well. Okay, so let's move in. In my opinion, we could have handled this better and safeguarded people's investment. The question I have now is this. Was Kamono Farming Initiative Limited a going concern? I mean, without DEC issue, did they have sufficient assets to discharge their obligations? The company could have been misled, or missed some steps on collecting money from the public. But the way DEC has painted this case is not good for the future innovations. So he's saying the way DEC has chipped in and carried out the investigations, it will scare out new innovations, new minds. All right. We are too harsh on local initiatives, and this will haunt us for generations. Oh my goodness, Henry Mlea is taking it too far. I call upon the Ministry of Commerce, Agriculture and SMEs to sit down with Kamono Farming Initiative and help save the business. So what he's saying is that this business has been helping people. Let's not just kill it like that. Okay, so it ought to be resuscitated. And so these are the people in charge of SMEs, the Minister of Commerce and other people should come together, including DEC obviously, and the Bank of Zambia. They should see. Now after all of this, what next obviously is the question. Now let me quickly explain to you what force majeure is, or force majeure depending on how you pronounce it. Okay, what is this that Kamono has entered into now, all right, or has enforced? So we are saying force majeure is a clause that is included in a contract to remove liability for unforeseeable and avoidable catastrophes that interrupt the expected course of events and prevent participation from fulfilling obligations. All right, these clauses generally cover natural disasters such as hurricanes, okay, tornadoes, and earthquakes. Okay, as if that is not enough. Now listen why it has qualified now on Kamono. as well as human actions such as armed conflicts and man-made diseases. So now what this means is that since Kamono's accounts have been frozen and things like that, and the operations have come to a standstill, Kamono has now entered into this clause, meaning if things goes bad on their side, or if they don't win the case, or they don't win the favor of the government and things like that, what it simply means is that Kamono will just walk away, and the people that invested into this business would have lost. No one will pay the other anything. No one is owing the other at this particular time, as Kamono has entered into force majeure clause. It's a sad story. It's a sad story, a very sad story. Now, there are a few questions that we need to ask. Where was Bank of Zambia all these years, even before 2013 when Kamono started doing their operations? Where were other government investigative wings? Where were other because Kamono was not operating in hidings. They were all over. Like people have said, in traditional ceremonies, trade fairs, presidents visited, ministers visited. They did business together. And so family, it is left up to you to make that final conclusion. But let's wait and see what DEC has to say after all of this, and the able courts of law of Zambia. And so it's shalom, shalom. God bless you. Minster Cage TV.